All right, dudes, week 10 recap. And the 12 o'clock window started off fantastic when you got two top 10 teams losing. Then you got the elimination games at night. But let's start. I think we start in Austin, Texas. Texas fans, you got to be pretty excited. And watching that game, man, like Arch showing emotion, I think was absolutely fantastic. And it started in the tunnel. Like, did you see? First, questionable all week. Didn't know if he was going to play. Curious how he would play if he had the opportunity. Best game of the season. Was so good, was so efficient, but like uncharacteristically in the tunnel before the game, like yelled at the camera, like was excited, was jacked up, and you could tell, man, he was ready to rock and roll. And this is going to be weird to say, but I 100% think having the concussion, being a little bit dinged up. You could tell he was dinged up too by the way his teammates celebrated with him. They didn't come like tackle him, slap him on the head. They were very smart with him. He probably told him that. But how about Arch Manning? Comes out 25 of 33, 328. Texas jumps up right away, like 17-0. It was 17-0 like that, man. First play of the game was a pass to Wingo out wide that goes 75 yards. And it was so clear and so good and so smart what Sark and company wanted to do. It was get the ball in the perimeter. It was literally, my athletes are good, get them in space. And where has this been all year for Texas? Because the first play to Wingo, Arch puts that thing on a line, so it allows Wingo to outrun the linebacker, break two tackles, and go to the house. And so I think, you like that. And then the second play of the game was it was funny to listen to McElroy and McDonough. They were like, what was the play call? It was literally a jet sweep, reverse, flea flicker on play 2, and you get it to your speedster Niblett to try to let him make a play. And but the ball was out on the perimeter quickly, taking advantage of your skill, taking advantage of your speed, protecting your line. The running game got going. Vandy missed 20 tackles in this football game. That's almost double what they normally miss. And that was Texas's speed on the outside. Like Wingo doing the first damage and then everybody else kind of spreading it out. And before you know it, it was 17-0. But the emotion I think that Texas played with was, you got to be fun to see if you're a Texas fan, because Colin Simmons should have got a taunting penalty probably. In Diego Pavia's grill, talking trash. Absolutely loved that. Thought it was fantastic that they were jacked up, that they were excited. And Vanderbilt now for what this means for them. The season's not over by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think defensively the last couple weeks or SEC play, the defenses have been catching up. And I thought Texas did a really good job of playing super fast, not playing slow when reading some of those things, just running and flying and attacking the mesh with Pavia. And forget the motion, forget all the reads, go hard, we'll fix it on the back end. And then Pavia and company, I think to start the game, why they dug themselves a hole that they couldn't get out of was too many penalties. They consistently shoot themselves in the foot with penalties. And you saw it with Missouri with touchdown pass or touchdown run getting called back, and you saw them, get in long yardage situations that they just really shouldn't get themselves into. And a team like Vanderbilt that you were accustomed to seeing them not make mistakes, they consistently make mistakes and cut themselves, shoot themselves in the foot. And that being all said, they still threw themselves back into the game. Pavia put up a ton of yards in quote unquote garbage time and, almost got the onside kick. That was crazy. Actually had a few chances to get that onside kick. I was surprised when you go back and look at that replay. Vanderbilt touched it 2 or 3 times and had a chance to really, to get it and to have a chance to possibly win the game or tie it. But dug themselves too big of a hole early, couldn't get themselves out of it. But I tell you what, Texas, man, you got to like where you're at now. You got to like what you're seeing. You got to like Arch Manning now responding from all the hatred, all the backlash, all that stuff, man, to come back now and be a team that's, you look at their schedule and what they're doing, it's a good look for Texas the rest of the way. If they go beat Georgia, big time. If they can beat A&M, obviously, they can still salvage everything about their season that they wanted to. And So it was not impressive for Vanderbilt. Texas was glad to be home, glad to jump out to that big lead and get some momentum going for their squad. So Miami, this was on Friday. On Friday, Rhett Lashley became a top 10 highest paid coach in all of college football. All of college football. SMU's got cheddar, right? They got the money to spend. And less than 24 hours later, he beats a top 10 team. And that's the first time SMU's done it in 40 years. So instant return on investment. But, Miami's been up and down, and they've been kind of sloppy, right? Like they haven't been – and you saw in this game with penalties – and you see the turnover bug continues to bite them, but you've seen slow starts. You saw drops, and now like this game was interesting because Miami felt like they were in control for a lot of the second half, the first half, and missed some opportunities. But it's the self-inflicted wounds consistently for this Miami team, dropping a catch that's forced into an INT. Tony continues to make plays and get them in a position to be successful. But man, Brent, I had the screen on, and I think that this was, and I don't do this. I don't do the Carson Beck and Gunnar Stockton game, but it was literally on right beside each other when this game's in OT, and Gunnar throws a red zone touchdown over the middle, and Carson Beck throws a red zone pick over the middle to lose the football game. And I was like, golly, man, like it was side by side, simultaneous.
Almost simultaneous.
I don't like to do that, but it was.
Well, there's the irony there. You had to
mention it.
Yes, it's worth mentioning.
But, now, how did you like, Brent, SMU? I loved the way they came out with a blistering pace. Like you could see Kevin Jennings coming behind Miami, and it's like, okay, so Miami's had some slow starts. I think let's get off to a fast start. Like, let's get off quick. SMU, they're literally running up to the line of scrimmage as fast as they possibly can. Like, give me the ball, spotting it. And I think it paid dividends late in the game because Miami was gassed. And Miami still had some opportunities. And here's the thing. In the end, Miami had the ball on their own, or SMU had the ball on their own 10. Miami was up 3. And Miami had a chance for their defense to do what they do, get some sacks, make some plays, stop them, and the game's over. And Miami still wins, and we're talking about them surviving.
A lot of empty from SMU, tempo, because they had 23 yards rushing in the game. They got them all in overtime, like in terms of when you take away the sacks and all that sort of stuff, just yards from scrimmage. And how they did that was perfect because Jennings is the backyard ball master. Mm-hmm. And he played his best football game of the season by far. And
threw for
just moving around, the quickness with which he moves, like it gassed out Miami's defensive line, and just play after play after play that he made. Brinson had one that he dropped at one point on like a third down, but other than that, he made plays in the game. The Hudson kid made plays in the game for them. And then at the end, after the pick, it borderline looked like Miami's defense was just like,
bro, SMU ran the ball 5 or 6 straight times and literally punched it in the end zone. Like you said, hadn't done that all game. But Kevin Jennings, like that was Kevin Jennings' greatest moment. Like threw for 365, had 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. And if you watch Jennings too, the dude left the game because his ankle like he was hobbling, and he was still able to come back in, continue to make plays, man. It was fun to watch them. And SMU's defense, they deserve some credit too now. Like they've been a really good run defense all year long. Miami finally mixed it up a little bit in the red zone and ran a condensed formation and threw the football. But the big 4th down and 1 stop. It was 17-14 Miami. They stopped on the 30-yard line, and Miami wanted the knockout punch, man. They wanted to get the 4th down, go punch it in, go up by 10, end the game. SMU's run defense really, really good, and made the play, got the stop on the 4th down, and that was big time for SMU to keep them in it.
What's amazing about their defense is they barely touched Beck, barely pressured him at all the entirety of the game. I want to say it was like 2, maybe 3 dropbacks total that he was pressured. and they just made plays in coverage. But there's a lot of, like, watching Miami now, there's a lot of predictability with some of the things that they do, especially in the passing game, because they're so much reliant on Tony and some of the crossing stuff. It just SMU was ready for it. They played it well, and you didn't hit the over. They hit him one early in the game for I think it was the first touchdown that was the deep ball, but you didn't get as many deep balls. That was just a good football game. Now, I watched the one field goal, and I was like, does that look good?
The one that got reviewed?
And then the guy comes back, and he's like, the whole football has to be – I'd never heard that
inside the crossbar.
Yeah. So,
or inside the upright, I guess.
I learned some things today watching football that I'd never seen. Like, for example, you can clap and get a penalty. But, that we'll get to that in a little bit. But
we can get right to that. But
Miami,
the bottom line is Miami. The bottom line is for Miami is self-inflicted wounds consistently. And you said they didn't get pressure to Beck, but you know what Miami did? They got holding penalties. They got stupid penalty after stupid penalty. At one time it was 3rd and 33, and I'm like, what the heck are we doing? So they continue to back themselves up, and that's why they mess the game up, man. Because they shoot themselves in the foot and they make mistakes, and because of that, man, you lose a football game. And in OT,
I want to say,
and they're out of the ACC race too, by the way. Actually, good chance that they're out of the ACC race now. There's a really good chance that they're out of it.
So current place that they are in the ACC standings. I'll give you the over under 5.5
places.
Yeah,
I'd say over. I'd say like 7th.
Yeah, they are 7th. There are 6 teams. Well, 6 teams with either 0 Virginia or no or 1 loss. Tech, Pittsburgh, Louisville, SMU, and Duke ahead of them in the SEC or in the ACC standings. Now, the thing is Cristobal's record in November, I saw that tweeted out, is really not good as head coach at Miami. It's 3-10.
It's not as bad as Matt Rule's. I'll get to his in a minute.
But like, Miami really needs to take a breath and be like, okay, just win out, be 10-2, have the victory over Notre Dame, have the victory over South Florida,
we'll get to that this
week.
We'll get to that this week. Let's not get this. We don't need to worry about that right now. Like, we're recapping. Like, but Miami's going to be interesting ranking them with Notre Dame. Obviously, they beat Notre Dame, but Notre Dame's 2 losses. It's going to be interesting to debate that. But let's go next to the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Like always, See Ball, Get Ball. Brent Rollins joins me every week. We've been growing like crazy, so hit that subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all. In Jacksonville, SEC refs have been a topic of conversation, and we've seen that, and we've done that. And guess what? It continued to be. There was a lot in this one that was very strange. 3 very, very questionable reviews, like that I think, honestly, you kind of go with the one on the field that goes with stands or upheld nowadays of what it is. But late down the stretch, Georgia does what Georgia does. And what came to mind was Mortal Kombat. It was literally like, finish him. Right? Like that's what they were going to do at some point. Georgia wins 24-20, 5th straight Georgia-Florida win. Kirby continues to do really well against everybody that's a rival or everybody he plays, not named Alabama. But I thought, when you watch this football game, Georgia's defense versus Florida's offense, Florida did a really good job. I like what Florida did offensively, because when you watch DJ Lagway, it's never about talent. Never. Never once have you gone, man, that dude's not very talented. He could run. He could spin the football. We've seen him play really well with deep balls. But to me, it was this year, it was Billy Napier wanted to be in the perfect call. And they wanted to shift in motion. They wanted to maximize, a whole offense. Billy Gonzalez and company looked like it was like this. Let's simplify this. Less shifts, less motions. Let's run more max protection, like keep more guys in, make it 2-man routes, read half the field, take off and run. Like, I think they did a good job, but I also think Georgia's defense played really, really well. And Florida had opportunity late in the football game. And, in the first half, I think the first half, it was kind of back and forth. Georgia started off good. Florida came back and tied it. Going into half, it looked like it was going to be 10-7. And then the mistake really that happened, there was a couple mistakes and both were on Georgia. You don't see Georgia's punter not kick the ball really well. For the first score for Florida, bad 20-yard kick. They score like within the next two plays. And then the interception by Gunnar Stockton right off Noah Thomas's hands, literally right off of him. So, Georgia uncharacteristically making a couple mistakes in the first half, and then Bolden, their best defensive player in the secondary, gets a targeting call, and you're like, holy cow, like this might be a game. And it's amazing to watch Bowens. It's amazing to watch Frazier. These guys, and Cass Jones is going to rotate in. You've seen McCray in short yardage, but like Georgia's run game when they need him, when they need it this season, has been really good outside the Alabama loss on the 4th and 1. But Gunnar Stockton, in a moment, they needed a play. They're trailing by 3. They go down the field. And here's one thing, and Brent, I want you to jump in on this. Like, there's a couple things that happened late for Georgia that I really liked. The protection was great down the stretch. Really, really great. Like, there was a stretch in the third quarter where the O-line struggled, and obviously the passing game struggles. Like, you have to, right? But I love the way they protected late. And Branch, bro, he's turning into a guy now. Like,
that's the story.
Because if you watch this game, Branch made the plays late in the game, the big third down on the last drive that they needed to make. But this whole offense is around Zach Branch. That's what I'm going to call him, okay? Zach Branch. Like, they went and got him in the portal, and they identified him as a guy they wanted. And he's a kick returner. He's a punt returner. But everything about this, the pass to Noah Thomas was a pump fake to Branch. Like, it was a pump fake that set up a wide open touchdown. Like, everything about this offense is running the football, throwing the screens to Branch. Now he's able to work the middle of the field, and you're seeing him kind of isolate and run routes. You saw a back shoulder last game against Ole Miss when you really, really needed it too. Like, Branch is turning into an absolute stud. And with Kobe Young out, like, they needed it, and Gunnar Stockton looked to him often, and that dude made plays big time for this offense.
Colby Young's absence was definitely felt in the blocking for the screen game for Branch. Very much so. I think he's much better at that than Noah Thomas. But last 3 games for Zachariah, I think he actually said he prefers Zachariah. So
he does, but I'm not good with Zachariah. Like,
okay.
I don't know. That's a harder thing to say. I'm just going to go with Branch.
Okay.
Every time he touches it, though, you hold your breath. Like, because he's like a video game that kind of lags, and he'll kind of, he's like a really good point guard too. He'll kind of slow it down, and then and you're like, you suck. Like, having to go against and tackle a guy like that. I apologize, but it's just really hard.
No, I agree. Last 3 games, though, 27 catches on 28 targets, 240 yards, 11 first downs by himself, over 80 receiving grade, 3 and 3 of contested catches, like the catch he made in the middle of the field where he got destroyed after that, held on.
Still caught it. Yep.
Like, he is very much the key. Chauncey Bowens with the great run late. It's one of those things where what's always interesting in these games, and really all these games, is you come out early and you see certain usage of players. Like the opening drive for Georgia, very play action heavy. Delp gets a pass on a crosser. Elias Williams, the freshman tight end, gets the pass on a leak play.
It was a leak play,
and then it's like two quarters go by. Where did the tight ends go? Where'd they go? It's just always fascinating to watch that. But once Bolden goes out, you're already down 1 starting safety.
Yeah,
it was one of the things where even early in that game with Bolden in the game, it was one of those things where if I was a Georgia coach, I'd be like, okay, when they ran the ball, just wave over there, thumbs up, thanks guys, appreciate that, because I think they could have thrown it all day if they wanted to at certain points in that game, but they didn't, and Georgia eventually made the play, and then we had all sorts of reviews. We had a penalty for excessively clapping, which was
there was
bizarre.
4 really weird calls, like. The clapping thing, I know there's an emphasis on this now, like with the claps that are meant to draw people off sides, which to me is really weird because why am I allowed to audibly go hut 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 hut, but and try to draw you off sides, but I can't physically clap? several times.
Yeah.
That's stupid to me. Like I'm a defensive guy, but that rule sounds dumb.
Yeah.
Just straight stupid. Because now you have to ref it. And so now you have to ref intent. Like it doesn't make sense to do that. Like let's cut that crap out. Like no, I don't want to hear that.
Penalty, like when you're under center and you're the QB and you like bob, you'd see QBs bob their head big time to simulate snap. I call that flag.
Yes.
But, the whole clap motion, that was one that, yeah.
But how about the other reviews? Let's talk about them because there
fumble,
were some big ones.
Catch, no catch.
Like the Gunnar Stockton throw, I thought it was an incomplete pass. That was reviewed right before the half. Now remember, Georgia got a field goal off of that. Yes. So that was it ended up being 10-10, and obviously that made a big difference in the ball game. But like I thought Gunnar's hand had the football and he started to move forward and then he lost it. Did you think the same thing?
Yeah, I thought that was an incomplete pass.
Okay. Now the Lagway reach out, no part of the body was on the ground, which was crazy. And he reaches out. I thought upheld was okay by me because it looked like he was almost fumbling the football. Like
he was losing it, but his like hand laid on top of it. So I could see them just saying that. Yeah, I was fine with that one too.
So, and again, what the default is always go to the upheld, which means, call on the field remains. And then the bomb deep. I thought watching that, the first 2 or 3 replays, I'm like, that's a catch. And this is a 4-point game at this. No, that was a
4-point game. Yeah. It was
4-point game. Lagway throws a ball. Listen, the guy was wide open. He's got to make a better throw. Like it's a miscommunication by Georgia.
He tried to throw it on the run.
He throws it deep. The ball comes to him, and the guy's arms are underneath it. It looked like he caught it. There was one replay after like the 3rd or 4th replay, man, they showed it from the back. And I was like, okay, that's the one for me. Like that was the one where I said, when it showed me that angle, I was like, okay, I would leave it as what it was on the field. Like I would have left that one alone, whatever it was.
Yes.
I think it hit the turf. I thought it hit the turf, but
yes.
So you were same opinion?
Especially when it's the replay that you're talking about from behind. That was the one where they showed it and you could see sort of from looking under his arms right there. It did look like it hit the ground, but it's still like that game. There's always wackiness.
Always.
There's beyond wackiness in that game always. And then Gunnar does a lot of wackiness. I was going to pick him by 7 on the website. And then at the last minute, I changed it to 9. I was like 20. I forget how I changed it. I even changed it from what we did on Wednesday. And yeah, he says, all right, we're just going to end the game right here.
Okay. So everybody out there, I'm curious. Y'all can have a add in the chat. And Adam Rooks, the branch comparison to LaShawn McCoy is a really good one. The way he cuts, it's pretty violent, pretty good. Kudos to you. I'll say this. If I'm up by 4 and I run the football and I'm inside the 5-yard line, whatever, I'm scoring. Because 2 possessions with under 30 seconds, whatever, the game's over. I'm scoring. So, and you say, well, nothing bad can happen if you take a knee. I can fumble it. And I know it's a 1 in a million, but there's a chance that I could. Like, I want to score there. I want to go up 2. Now, Kirby obviously addressed that with the Auburn game. Remember? He said he would prefer
they were
not.
Up 3.
He would, correct. And he scored. And maybe that's absolutely why. Because you see Oscar Delp take a knee before Gunnar Stockton does. So this was addressed. But I'm just saying, I don't mind scoring there because the game's over. Now it's impossible for them to come back. One bad bounce, I don't love it. I wouldn't love it, but
Did you like Florida's coach go for it call? I think it was like 3:30 left. It was on whatever. It was right before that. Did you like his go for it call there? Because they had like 2 or 3 timeouts versus punting. What did you think of that one?
Yes. Yeah, I think you got to go for it. Like I think you can't play. If it was 4th and 10, it's a different conversation too. When it's 4th and short, it's 4th and 1, right? Like that was you talking about the ball, right?
You had talked about creativity in the blitz. That was the most creative blitz they had all game long. They
stemmed to it and took some gaps. Like it was really, really good, man. Like I thought the Jaden Ball fourth down stop obviously was one of the bigger plays of the game because then they go down the field and take the lead. But it was the right decision by Florida. You're going for the win. I'm not kicking a long field goal. And Ball doesn't get stopped very often, man. That dude's an animal. Like, that dude's a hammer. So, and Lagway had carried the ball a bunch on short yardage situations, and it had been unsuccessful on third down some. Yeah. So they gave it to their horse, who they should have gave it to, but they had, like, nobody blocked anybody up front. Like, nobody. So nobody got any kind of movement on the offensive line for Florida.
That was probably the biggest difference watching the game from the Florida perspective was they tried to involve Lagway in the run game a little more than they normally do with him. And I think you had mentioned it a little bit earlier. They simplified a lot of things, and there was this time frame where it was just, all right, outside zone, bootleg, and like just 4 or 5 straight plays where it was just alternating the same play. So they tried to just stick with what they do.
Well, and first down, they did a good job of mixing it up enough. But I think from what I've seen from Lagway, Brent, I think that's the way he has to play. I think it's him. Like, I think they're trying to protect him because when you do too much, he's not as good. Like, he just needs to be in his own little space, and that's obviously that's on him.
He had some misses in that game. He had some open misses.
He's got to grow. He's got to continue to get better. But I think they're doing what they can. But the interesting convo. Last thing on Georgia, and we'll move on is the Bowens discussion. Does he need to get more touches, throughout the game? Because they do a good job of kind of mixing it in. Obviously, 2-0's back a little bit healthy, and that sucker can roll and fly. So I think you want to give him some touches too. I just think 33 is the best. I think he's by far the best. And I would give him 65%. He's getting double-digit carries. He had 9 carries. I'm getting him to 15 a game probably. Like, I got to get him to at least 12.
It was a couple weeks back. I want to say, was it maybe at Auburn? That was the first game that he didn't really play a lot, and it was a injury they had talked about. He had something dinged up. Well, then you had time, and it's still just kind of been a rotation, and you've seen Frazier mainly over the last few games. To me, he's clearly the better of the two and should clearly get the majority of the carries. But, if you said that to Kirby, you know what Kirby would say. Earning it in practice. Who's earning it in practice? Who's practicing the best? Who's doing the things that's being asked of them in practice? And that's
whatever.
Going to be his answer.
It's also really nice to have several. So it's fun to have a stable full that you can get and they can run angry. And we don't even see McCray that much. But all right, next, Ohio State fans. I got something for you, bro. Like, I'm ready to. First of all, we do the tip of the cap segment, right? The tip of the cap segment for Mellon every single week now. Tip of the cap to Julian Sayin. Like, I've seen Julian Sayin really play well, and I've seen him make the plays that were there. I haven't seen him have to make plays against a good defense consistently. This is the only hat that I put on in my life ever that doesn't sweat. Like, that doesn't sweat. Literally, there's no stains. It's crazy. It's nuts. Julian Sayin doesn't sweat. Like, he kind of glides and throws the football. And he has Jeremiah Smith and Tate, obviously, who are absolute freak shows. But today, seeing him be as efficient as he was, and the numbers are pretty staggering when you go 20 of 23 for 316. So over 300 yards in 5 of 8 games. Completed at least 78% in 6 of those games. And I'm talking about the third down scramble. It was incredible. Like, it was really cool to watch him use his feet. Like, Tate and Smith are unfair. It's not fair. Like, they had 11 catches for 247 and 3 touchdowns. But I just love what I saw from Sayin, moving in the pocket and doing a great job of buying time, doing what he could. So there's no denying it. We did the Heisman top 5 this past week. He'll be in the top 5 this week. I mean, I just think he has to be there. But back to Mellon. Go to Mellon.com. Use my promo code Pollack to get 30% off. Get yourself a cap. Block out the sweat, bro. No sweat. You'll love it. I promise. Also, sweatless performance in the Big Ten. Indiana. Like, get the heck out of here, right? Like, Maryland's pretty good. Maryland had the lead at one point. Nah. Mendoza goes off, does great. 367 yards rushing as a team. They pound away. They forced the turnovers, forced 5 turnovers. everything rolling for the Hoosiers. Really, really fun to watch. I'm not sure what we're going to learn from them, but gosh dang, are we all excited about what we're going to see a little bit down the road with Ohio State. And it's been dominating from both sides. So to watch both of them play, it's definitely going to be interesting to see because they both can score points. They both got elite wide receivers out wide. Both quarterbacks are playing well. Both defenses are playing well. Like very, very good job by Ohio State and by Indiana. They're both 1-2, obviously, and probably will be. So, all right. Well, if we're going to someplace next and we start talking about it, we've got to go to the biggest upset. The biggest upset of the day is Georgia Tech. I mean, Georgia Tech at unranked North Carolina, who's banged up like crazy. I mean, they're Hollywood Smothers, their best running back out. A bunch of other guys out too. NC State takes care of business at home. It's a cool environment, but CJ Bailey, man, this dude was hobbling all over the place, and he's been good all year. If you've watched NC State, CJ Bailey's been really, really good. Now, he'll make some mistakes, but not tonight. They played really, really well, and the Wilson package comes in and runs the football at quarterback as well. But how about Duke Scott? God, dog, just coming in for the best name in sports, and Hollywood Smothers pounding rock, almost 200 yards. Noah Rogers out wide catching the ball. And I think when you look at Georgia Tech and you look at their season so far, there's a reason that nobody's put them up there in the very upper echelon, and there's a reason that one-loss teams have been ahead of them. They trailed in 6 of their 8 games. Their defense hasn't been elite, but they've been pretty good. Today they broke a lot, broke a ton. And the biggest difference in their offense, Haynes King is so freaking lethal, and he has another day and goes nuts. But they kicked 4 field goals, and that's the difference. That's why they lose. When you're an offense that you have to score because your team depends on it, your defense is good and situationally, and you need turnovers. But it was not a good day for the defense, and the offense absolutely couldn't carry the day. And ACC implications off of that. By the way, first of all, before that, Haynes King with a touchdown in the third quarter set the history books for Georgia Tech. Most touchdowns in Georgia Tech history with 84. 84. So he wasn't the reason Georgia Tech lost. That's for dang sure. ACC, around the ACC, 15, Virginia does what Virginia does against Cal. They win. They find a way to win. It's going to be pretty close, but they win. Louisville, same vein. It's exactly the same thing. Louisville takes care of business. They get down to Virginia Tech, and they do what they do. They put it together, and they find the dub. So it was if you look in the ACC, obviously Virginia's undefeated. Louisville still has, they're still – the thing that's fun about Louisville is they have so much explosiveness and so much creativity in offense. To go with a defense that's really consistent, they're a fun one to watch, obviously, in the ACC too. So it's a more competitive league than we thought. And I thought the uniforms tonight were fantastic too. The uniforms were great. Ole Miss starting off with the gray camo helmet, that was pretty dope. And come out the first possession, and they get stopped, and they fake a punt. So Lane Kiffin was like, hey, I know you've heard all the talk. Let me tell you something. I'm still Lane. This is what I do. I'm still going to roll the dice. We're still going to be hyper-aggressive. And they were. And I think the takeaways from the Ole Miss game was, for me, there's a couple of them. Ole Miss's defense is starting to crank it up. And you're starting to see more of what you saw a year ago. You had 6 sacks today. The last game, obviously, in a big game against Oklahoma, we talked about it as well. The defense scoring, making some plays. 6 sacks, 50 yards rushing given up. 50 yards against Lenora Sellers and South Carolina. 3 takeaways. They had 260 yards rushing. Trinidad didn't play his best game, but the defense very much kept them in it. They even got put in a bad spot off of a special teams muff punt, but they've continued to grow. They've continued to get better, and they don't have to win just with runaways. And the creativity by Lane and company continues to be fun. 3rd and 11, my favorite call of the game was 3rd and 11. It was they go up 17-7 off this play. It was Trinidad. They see man-to-man, and as soon as Lane sees it, literally puts his hands up on the sideline and says touchdown, and Trinidad runs off to the corner and takes off for 25 yards and scores a touchdown. So it was It was vintage Lane. That was like kind of reminding you of Lane with the clipboard flying in the air a couple years ago, which was awesome. But Ole Miss playing good defense, to go along with it. And to go on the other side with South Carolina, Brent, jump in here because I want to tell you this because I bet you don't know this. But this was nuts to listen to this. Lenora Sellers in 9 games has 9 total touchdowns this season. 9. Lenora Sellers.
I mean, I knew it wasn't many.
Has 9
but I didn't know the exact number.
Touchdowns, bro. Like, I literally heard that tonight, and I was like, that can't be possible. Like, this is a dude that like, literally.
9 against Clemson last year.
I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, just to watch this offense, and it's not good. And listen, Lenore deserves some of the blame. The offensive as a whole, and the way it's organized and the way it's ran and called, it's not half as good as it was a year ago by any stretch. But I think the Norrises want to get hit consistently and run the football really, really tough. It's not there, and he just continues to miss. Like, he's missing. He misses wide open guys consistently that if he makes them, gets them another first down. If he makes them, it makes big plays. And he has one big play a game now, it feels like, where they're going to go max protect and they're going to throw it to Harbor and he's going to catch it and it's going to be a big play. But, man, it's watching South Carolina and this team, that they're competitive, they stay in games, but it's
a struggle
not
for the state of South Carolina.
Yeah. We didn't even mention Clemson in that ACC nugget. We didn't need to, though. I mean, it was oof.
No, we didn't. The most surprising, I think what's kind of next on our list of games, though, was the most surprising result of the night for me. Oklahoma going into Tennessee and getting absolute destroyed in the first half, yet Tennessee just said, here, take some points, take some turnovers. Let's miss us a field goal.
Tennessee was doing their best 501c3. They were a straight nonprofit. They were giving it away like it was going. They had 4 trips inside of plus territory where they got 0 points. That is almost mathematically impossible. And here's the thing, Brent. I'm sure you wanted to apologize to the Tennessee fans too about not having Aguilar in the top 2 because he was one of those guys that deserves to be in that conversation. Dude looked lost tonight. He looked absolutely lost. Tip of the cap again. We'll do Mellon again. Tip of the cap for Oklahoma because Venables and them were absolutely great. Like they messed up the timing of the passing. They had Tennessee given up 9 sacks all year. They had 3 sacks in the first half or in the first quarter. In the very first quarter, they scored on a defensive touchdown. They forced multiple picks. Tennessee missed a field goal. Like it was a comedy of errors early for Tennessee. The building was rocking after they go down the field and they score 7. They get a hold, and that place is about to go nuts. And Mateer gets sacked, and R. Mason Thomas picks it up and took 75 hours to get to the end zone with a cramp
Aguilar
and whatever happened. Huh?
Aguilar got sacked.
Yeah, Aguilar got sacked. R. Mason Thomas scoops it up. Takes forever to get to the end zone. And man, Tennessee and that offense was frazzled. It did not have answers. The ball was not coming out like you're used to seeing it come out. And Aguilar threw a couple interceptions that were just, it looked like App State days, right? The long, deep shots that were floaters that were not very good. So he had a bad day. He had a bad day against a good Oklahoma team.
And now they are basically eliminated from the playoffs. The stat that the thing I saw during the broadcast that was amazing at Oklahoma under Venables, they were 1-8 when trailing after the end of the first quarter. Like that's amazing. It's like that's okay. If we're losing at the very beginning, we're done. But Tennessee decided to keep handing it to them. But hey, 192 rushing yards for the Sooners to 63 for Tennessee. They ran the ball. I think they were a lot smarter in this game with how they ran Mateer. I mean, and even one of the
smarter. They just let him do it more. They're like season. They're like our season's on the line. We have to do it.
Win.
Okay. Here's the thing, and you know me. I've been since this offseason. I was president of the Mateer Club. I haven't seen a lot of greatness from him in that second half. That's the best I've seen him look since the injury. Like he started to get the ball out. He was running the ball really, really hard.
Wasn't rushed.
Yeah, but that's the one thing that drives me nuts about him, though. Since the injury, like, he's usually a flatliner. He's been he's too much. He needs to slow down a bit in the pocket and make more plays in the pocket, make better decisions. But I think if you're an Oklahoma fan, you got to be excited to go into that atmosphere. Like, that's a good football team. One of the best offenses you'll play. And I don't ever do this, so you can write this down. You can take a picture. I don't give a. Sandell, is it Sandell, the kicker? 2 55-yarders. Two 55-yarders in a game that's super close down the stretch, and you go from 55 twice, and you win by 6. You win by 6. And that dude came up extremely clutch for his team. So don't get used to it, kickers, by any stretch of the imagination. But it was a good outing. It was a good show. And great job by Oklahoma. Stay alive in the playoff hunt. They still have
get a bye. Get a bye before they play Alabama.
Which Mateer maybe gets fully healthy. He gets off of it for a little bit. And now you find something else. The schedule's still going to be absolutely brutal. But
it's a season saving. It's a season saving. Season saving. Blah, blah, blah.
Both sides of the ball did well. Both sides of the ball did well. All right, Notre Dame at BC. Notre Dame off a bye, looked kind of sloppy, wasn't the best. So be it. But I thought the defenses continued to get better and show us more and more spurts where if the offense doesn't play well, I still want to see them just like pound the piss out of people. Like, I still want to see Notre Dame be like last year and just be perfectly okay with just hammering you, like hitting you in the face ad nauseum repeatedly. I would love to see, more of that. They won 25-10. They did a good job, but like I said, they were sloppy. Here's the thing. If I'm a Notre Dame fan, first of all, the Love 94-yard run, go back and watch that, because he's running and he literally looks to the sideline for like 12 steps at his teammates, like looks at him and then finishes the run. That's how fast that sucker is. And we had a lot of discussion on C-ball, get ball before the season, and Penn State fans really came hard at us about the running back situation and who had the best backfield in the country. Not sure that's a debate anymore. With Love and Price, they're pretty much taking care of business. But if I'm going to take something out of this for Notre Dame, C.J. Carr played better, which is good. I still want to see him play consistently, not to a slow start. I want to see Notre Dame run the football. I want to see that defense continuing to play well. But good God Almighty, I feel like we're at Groundhog's Day. It's right back where we were. The field goal kicking for Notre Dame is awful. So they start one field goal kicker. He misses a short field goal. Misses it, right? Okay. Pull him. Put in another guy. The other guy misses an extra point. So sub him out, like Auburn quarterback situation. Whew, boy. Sub him out. Bring in the other guy again. He misses an extra point. Like, Marcus Freeman is like the king of chill and the king of focused and the king of, like, you can't ruffle him. Like, just really, really cool, even keeled, always good like that. Did you see him after the game have to answer questions about his kicker? Like, he was doing his best to not give them any bulletin board material and not trash his kickers when he knows his kickers were not doing the job, man. Like, that was really bad. Apologies to Notre Dame fans that you have to watch that, but man, they got to get that fixed. And I know your starter's hurt, but whatever. All right, Texas Tech, who's going to move way up the charts this week and probably absolutely going to be in the playoff now with a couple of losses ahead of them. No points in the first quarter. Looked a little sluggish. Looked a little sluggish. Looked like a team that was coming off of a bye or coming off of a hangover like from last week. 0 points in the first quarter. Morton gets it going. Knocked the rust off, a guy that had been sitting out, more importantly. And then they rolled up 43. Like 43. And Texas Tech continues to win with the same principle. Like, it's the physicality up front. It's the run game. But if Morton can be the guy he was today in quarters 2, 3, and 4, where they pound the rock, and they take some deep shots, and they hit some deep shots, like this team is good enough to be in this conversation and to get in the playoffs and to beat somebody, because the defensive line continues to eat humans. Like, eat them up. And the offensive line continues to do well. So this O could be so much better if they get that consistently. Chris Rodriguez, what we need to keep talking about this guy over and over again, because I think that was his 6th or 7th forced fumble. Like, just watch 10 for Texas Tech. Every time he comes in for a tackle, he's punching the football. It was 7-3. Kansas State had an opportunity to go and get some more points. He punches it out again and makes a big time play. And they get the football and they make it happen. But like, he continues to do that. If I'm going to say Texas Tech and watching again today, and I'm going to pick one thing that I feel like that they kind of struggled with again, it was Avery Johnson running the football. And if you go back to Leavitt when they lost, it was Sam Leavitt running the football. So the running quarterback, that's a big deal. And Jacob Rodriguez just continues to be one of the most fun guys to watch. Like, he just eats, man. He finds the football, whether it's an interception, whether it's punch outs. But like, we talked a lot about Bain and Heisman. I heard that all over the place. Jacob Rodriguez, maybe he's supposed to be in that conversation because he's all over the field, number 10, making plays. And then, Brent, you better get your butt in here right now with your background. That beautiful background, West Virginia, Mountain My Mind. How about Rich Rod putting up 45 against Houston's defense, man?
Pick 6 included. Shocker.
I mean,
now I think he's a true freshman. The Fox kid, the QB,
yes,
played today, and it's like, okay, you looked functional on offense. Have at it.
Is that a compliment when you say someone looks functional? Is that a compliment?
Well, compared to what they have looked like, I think it's very much a compliment. But
okay,
the key is that was a massive shakeup in the Big 12.
That was
because Houston was just on a path to be in that championship game and let BYU, Texas Tech, and Cincinnati kind of beat each other. Now it's a 4-team race. Depending on Utah's up 24-7 at half as we're looking at this, or as we're talking. But that was a massive win to break up the Big 12.
Yeah, that's over. Utah alive and kicking, very much back in the mix, and ground and pound.
Shocking win for the Mountaineers, though.
Yeah, that was big time. 42-35 over Houston. Houston's one of those teams we talked about. Just the defense is so good, right? Consistently good that make you earn everything. And you look every time I looked up, West Virginia was breaking off runs. I'm like, good Lord. So,
and that was at Houston. It was on the road.
Yeah, and good for Rich Rod, man. Like, you need those moments, right? Those moments to be big time.
Belief in the fan base moments.
Yeah, and you got the old guys there that were there in the glory days with Noel, and you got Rich Rod obviously back. You got all those good nostalgic feelings. When you do that, it's nostalgic because you kicked the crap out of somebody and put up 45 points. That's really, really fun. All right. If you look at Nebraska, man, oh, man. So here's Matt Rule is now 1-8 in November. 1-8. He's 1-8 in November. He just got a raise, so that's big time. They just got everybody's continuing to get raises off of all the coaching gigs, but Matt Rule gets a huge raise, and now they're 1-8 in November. Something had to give because you had Lincoln Riley on the road, who doesn't win on the road at Southern Cal, and then you had Rule and company who don't win in November. The black jerseys, again, another combination. I didn't mention Tennessee. Tennessee fans, I apologize. The black and orange Halloween was absolutely dope, but the black jerseys were. I love the black jerseys. They were fresh. They were super fresh. The outfits I thought was absolutely fantastic. But if I'm a Nebraska fan, I don't call out coaches. I'm not the call out coaches guy. I would just be very upset that we didn't run the football every freaking play. I would have ran the football almost every play. Like, Emmett Johnson was popping. He had it going. They moved the ball up and down the field. The pass defense coming into this game, I knew the Nebraska pass defense was really good, but I also realized that they'd only played like one real passing attack in Maryland. So you're like, okay, you're curious if it's the great defense or if it's who they've played. They were good, man. Mayala really struggled. Like, he could not get anything going. But I think the hardest part for Nebraska was down the stretch. It was 14-6. You're about to score again in some way, shape, or form. Instead of running the football, which you should have done every single time in the red zone, you drop back to pass. Raiola gets sacked, messes up his ankle, fumbles the football. USC gets it, goes down the field, scores, gets a 2-point conversion. Then the game's a totally different game. But, got to be frustrating for – yes.
That USC ran to was gorgeous because it wasn't just a hand it to him, take 3 steps, turn around, and throw it back to the QB. It was hand it to him off on a zone, and then he comes back a little bit right, then flips it back to the QB, and he threw a dime.
I'm about to say, it wasn't like it was open.
No,
it was just a great throw.
And that's
you got a contested catch on a flea flicker. That doesn't happen very often.
No. And then USC sort of ran the ball and do that. And, to add, you talked about the extension. I wonder if Nebraska fans are like, can Penn State just kind of just take him? But
no, they're not.
He's now 2-24 against ranked teams in his career.
Yeah, that's a tough nugget. I would love to argue with you that and say something creative for Matt Rule, but that's a bad one. But USC and Lincoln Riley, big time. Getting over that hurdle. 3 of the next 4 games are at home. They ran for over 200 yards. And if you're a USC fan, you should be really, really excited that your defense hung in there, made plays, forced turnovers, got the big 4th down stop at the end of the football game. The defense really – Maiava was 7 for 20 at one point and looked like he couldn't find anything. And he's usually so good. And then you kept him in it. You kept him around. He found his groove. Lincoln dialed up the trick play. They took care of business. So it was a good win it was obviously a bad win for Matt Rule and company, but it was also a really big win for Lincoln Riley getting the win on the road. Michigan survived Purdue 21-16 without Justice Haynes. The foot injury, not good. We talked about that, man. He's the best part of their offense. Memphis gets a Halloween win over Rice to stay in the conversation. But the most important thing out of those is North Texas taking care of business. More balance, air raid versus triple option, option football, and the air raid started off 14-0 and came out the gates hot, and then had that one-handed pick interception that was so gross and so disgusting. When they were up 7, Navy had a chance to get back in the football game, but North Texas made that nice pick, converted wide receiver. I think his name was Hammond. It was a nice play. And
somebody's going to hire their coach and take their quarterback and their running back. Some Power 4 team.
True freshmen.
Yep.
And the quarterback, it's just such a good story, man. Continues to be a great story. No offers. He didn't start a high school football game.
0.
Not one. And the dude's in college. So all y'all out there that are looking about that, that's pretty dang good. Jeff Lebby, congrats. Gets his first win in SEC play. Brent,
pick that one.
You said Mississippi State was going to get one, and Kentucky beats Auburn. So I think Adam Rooks in the chat, who's our Auburn resident Auburn fan, he echoed the sentiments in the chat and said that it's not going to be good for Hugh Freeze.
He's next.
That should do it. Stinks for Hugh because they've upgraded the roster, but the way that you had to play musical chairs at quarterback today and to only score 3 points.
Both baseball teams have scored more than Auburn.
Yeah.
It's 5-4, I think, in extra innings, because I know you really care about that.
Who's winning?
I think the Dodgers are. And the chat might correct me, but I saw the Dodgers hit a home run at the 10th or 11th or something like that. But
7 straight losing seasons for Auburn. Is that what it is? 1-5 in the SEC for the 2nd straight season. Oh,
it's not good.
Not good.
Hey, let's talk about some good though.
All right.
As we kind of close up here. North Dakota Titans, another undefeated regular season completed on Friday. How you feeling going into the playoffs, Coach?
We're not the healthiest we've been ever. We got a lot of guys that have missed a lot of times, but getting the bye and then getting ready for the next round is good. The draw is not the worst in the world. We've got a solid draw. It would be nice to have, Carson Rollins again, like last year, your son, to play safety and make some big plays. But Feel pretty solid about the North Oconee Titans. We got a couple home games coming up, so good start.
Nothing next week. It's 2 weeks.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And if you saw 84, that was not Ladd McConkey for North Oconee, or for Georgia. That was North Oconee's Landon Roldan that got there for a
should have had a touchdown.
Today. Yeah,
that was a bad ball from Gunner.
Run faster, Landon. Come on.
No, that was a bad ball. And then I have to share this with you because we probably don't agree a lot with this person, especially when it comes to the football takes. But I think Danny Cannell might now be an official a see ball, get ball. We might be fans of Danny Cannell. Because earlier today, he tweeted out that today is one of his favorite days of the year because Christmas lights are going up. Never too early.
Never too early. You're
Danny
through with
Cannell.
Halloween, bro. Halloween's gone. Like, throw them up. Throw the lights up and get the music cranking. Like, it's that time of the year.
We got trees up in our house.
Yeah. It's the most wonderful time of the year, baby.
But I just got to
enjoy it.
I don't think we've really agreed with him on a lot of things over the years, but I 100% agree with Danny Cannell.
Danny Cannell,
right there.
We are with you, and that's the recap, ladies and gentlemen. That's everything that basically went on in college football. You didn't even need to watch it. You didn't need to do what me and Brent did and spent 12 hours watching it. You could have just listened to us. But craziness, week 10 in the books, and we'll be back all this week, man. A lot to cover for week 11, but it's definitely getting closer now. And the rankings come out this week, so we'll get the first committee rankings and see who's number one in the country because there's two that have made a pretty good case for it.
Ohio State.
So I think it'll be Ohio State too, and we might even see ball, get ball. We'll have it, man. Who knows? Who knows who might be number one next week? But we'll see you guys this week. Appreciate y'all. Peace.